Tune into a podcast made by the fans for the fans. This is the Drive for Five podcast. Welcome to the Drive for Five podcast, hosted by David Lazar.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Drive for Five podcast. Today we have a very special guest on. We have Connor Jones, so this is a great treat for everyone. We're going to start off by asking him a few questions about his season and his time on the Islanders last year, and we are very excited for this. So thank you so much for coming on, Connor.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
All right, so first we just want to ask you, Scott, Christian, and I have been following the Sound Tigers. We watch the games, and Christian goes to all of them. And you guys are off to a pretty solid start. Maybe not exactly, at where you guys want to be record-wise, but you are doing very well, at least your play on the ice. And you're so far at a 1 goal, 2 assists, and a +4 this year. You're playing very strong defensively, as always. And we've noticed your coach, Brett Thompson's system is, he always has a strong system with physical play. And I just want to ask, how do you think your play fits in with Coach Thompson's system this year?
I think it fit in well. I try and, go out there and do things that, he preaches, be physical and play hard. I got the system down pretty well, but, no, I just go out there every day and, work hard, finish checks, and then try and contribute offensively too.
All right, great. So, Christian, we'll go to you next for your question.
All right, hey, Connor. So I go to a lot of games. I've been going to a lot of games for a long time. I've met you before with the Booster Club and the meet and greets, obviously, and awards dinners. So my first question is, the Sound Tigers are a team with a lot of veterans with NHL experience. How do you feel that you, Steve Bernier, Steven Gianta, Seth Huggins, and among others, set the tone and lead the young guys? Because you're now considered a veteran. This is your 4th or 5th season in the AHL. How are you setting the tone for the younger guys?
I think we just go there and try and do the same things every day. Be a pro on and off the ice. Whether that's just treating everybody with respect, or taking care of your body, and just bringing it every day. Whether that's practice or games or just anything we do. So we got a pretty good core leadership group, and I think the rookies got a lot of good guys to learn from for sure.
All right, so thank you so much for answering that. Scott, we're going to come to you now.
What was it like playing with Kellen so far in Bridgeport, and how does that affect your relationship with him?
Me and Kel's relationship is great. We had a lot of fun last year playing together. I think we're pretty lucky in the sense that we've only had 2 years in our whole life that we've ever not played together. I think that's just pretty lucky as two twin brothers could be. And he's doing good in Worcester, and wish him all the best for sure.
Yeah, I just think it's pretty cool that, I have a brother and, we both want to do stuff, not be hockey players, unfortunately, but I just think it's cool that you guys have, played together your whole life. It must be so great for your relationship, and, you're sure your parents are proud, just like they were in the Buffalo game last year, which we do want to talk about later. But, I just have a question relating to your season last year. Last year, you really impressed in Bridgeport and were awarded with the call-up, which we all remember. And I got to say, you brought some good luck to the team. You played in 4 games with the Islanders. When you were up, they were undefeated. The team was 4-0 with games and you in the lineup. And what was it like being a part of that kind of run?
It was a lot of fun. A pretty cool experience being called up for the first time. And, the team won and did well, I think, made it even more special. So, it was just a fun time of year. I think we had nothing to lose. We were just trying to win games, and Yaro was playing well, and everybody was playing hard. So it was just a lot of fun.
How special was it to have your family and Kellen up there for your NHL debut last year?
Like I say, it was just an amazing experience to have my friends, my family around. It just, a real emotional time, and just, so thankful I got to, share it with with everybody, and including my parents and Kellen too.
Your Corsi percentage last season was almost 53%, which means that the Islanders controlled play when you were on the ice more than half of the time. Did you play more careful at the NHL level, or did you go out there and play like you always have in Bridgeport?
I think I just tried to go play my game, play physical and, be hard on the forecheck, stuff like that. So I wasn't too nervous or anything, just, try to go out there and work hard just like I do kind of every game,
Yeah, and you had a very rare experience of having Yaroslav Halak in Bridgeport and then going up and having Yaroslav Halak in the NHL. And Halak, just from what you've seen from him live, he must be, I haven't gotten a record, but he must have won, he was insane in Bridgeport and then insane when you got called up. So how do you feel that being able to grow that bond with Yaroslav really helped you guys play together?
I couldn't say, enough about what a guy to, goalie of his stature to come down and, just treat everybody professionally. And, I think you could see his dedication in the game and one of the reasons that he is an elite goalie and why he did well down here and why he's doing well this year and last year as well. So he's just, a great guy, and I think he's, an elite goaltender in the NHL. So not enough good things to say about him.
Yeah, 17 wins, 7 losses, 3 overtime losses, 2 shootout losses in Bridgeport, and then undefeated in the NHL after the call-up. So that's a pretty good record with you guys playing together. So
yep.
I just want to talk about one more stat that we have for you. Last season in 4 games, you had 13 hits, which is a very impressive number. And then if I did the math, and if you kept that pace up for an entire 82-game season, hypothetically, you would have had 266 hits, which would have put you 6th in the NHL over players like, Matt Martin, who was an old Islander, I'm sure you remember, and over some teammates like Casey Zizekas and other players. How do you feel that your physical play helped the Islanders last year when you were called up?
I hope it helped a lot, but I think it's just a big part of the game, finishing hits, and I don't think, many players, it's hard, finishing checks every day, and I'm not a huge guy, so it's just one thing that, I'll do to help the team win, and, anything I can to, contribute to a team's winning, whether it's hitting or scoring or anything like that. So I'm just going out there trying to do anything I can to help them win.
I know that you played at Quinnipiac, and you played with a couple guys that you played with in Bridgeport, including your playing with Travis St. Dennis, Callan, and Devon Taves at Quinnipiac Bridgeport.
It was awesome. I've known Travis for, since we were young. He was from the same hometown. And then playing with Devon too at Quinnipiac. I think we had a good culture there at QU, and hopefully we brought a little bit of that over to Bridgeport. So I know for them last year, having me and Keller around just made them a little more comfortable being first year guys too. So it was I think anytime you get to play with former teammates, it's a lot of fun and a special experience.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, just building off Scott's point about how, the Bridgeport community, you wouldn't think, from an outsider, we wouldn't know if we were Islanders fans, but the Bridgeport hockey community with Quinnipiac and then Bridgeport, you got a nice core
Yale.
there of you guys. Yale, you've got just a great group of hockey over there, and I know Christian experiences it a lot, so I think that's pretty cool that you are able to contribute to the, Connecticut hockey, which, since Hartford is gone, it was lacking, but you guys are really doing a good job, bringing hockey back to Connecticut. So thank you for that. And we just have one quick more question. We have a lot of followers on our account. We do, unlike I'm sure some of the people who have interviewed you before, our audience is more of a younger kids, just like we are. We're all 17, 16. We're all going to college next year, looking at making that big decision. But one thing we do have a lot of followers who wanted us to ask. I did post on Instagram. Thank you for following us, by the way. We appreciate that. And I did post on Instagram what kind of questions we want people to ask. And the main question we got was, just having a hockey player on, which we've never had, and most people don't have the opportunity to speak to one. We just want to ask, what advice do you have for our young listeners that are trying to make it to the NHL or the AHL or just continue hockey at the next level?
That's cool. basically just to work hard every day and, to enjoy the process of, growing up and playing with your friends and your family around. It's when I look back to my time in minor hockey and growing up, it was a lot of fun, and I think nowadays people forget about that sometimes. So just to have fun and work hard, and things will happen. Good things will happen if you put that into it. So that's pretty much all I can say.
Well, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for giving up your time. We hope you have a steady recovery if you have that injury that was reported on. And we just want to wish you luck the rest of your season. Hopefully you get the call up again soon. It was amazing watching you last year on the Islanders. I got to see you live. It was great. And just thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, fellas.
All right, see ya.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah. See you now.
Okay, so that was Connor Jones. Right now we're going to take a brief pause. We're going to have a message from our sponsors. So we'll be right back, guys. We are proud to announce that we do have a sponsor for the Drive for 5 podcast. We have Canvassist sponsoring us, and we are very happy to announce that they've given us a special discount code that you can use. It is the special sale season for Canvassist, and now you can get buy one, get one 50% off, buy two, get one free, 65% off any canvas, and you can also get a free canvas as long as you pay shipping. So we have an amazing sale going on there, and all you have to do is use our discount code Drive for 5, with the 4 being a number and 5 being spelled out. And if you use that and you prove that you used it, you can DM us on Instagram, and we will also throw in an additional gift from our store, which could be a free puck, free hockey cards, or anything. So it's an amazing deal for you guys. So be sure to check out canvases.com, and it will be a great deal for you guys for the holidays. So thank you so much for the Canvases for sponsoring us. And again, thank you so much to Connor Jones for coming on. Welcome back, guys. We were very thankful to have Connor Jones on. It was a great interview, and we found out a lot about his journey to the NHL, his time in the AHL, and his experience with the Islanders last year on their amazing run. So right now I just want to talk about, we have a lot of stuff going on with the Islanders. We have the Matthew Shane trade that just went down. We have Matt Barzal's emergence. We have some John Tavares saga, dilemma, drama, whatever you want to call it. There's always some sort of stuff going on with John Tavares. But we do want to focus right now on some stuff relating to Connor Jones. We want to focus on the Bridgeport Sound Tigers this season, and we want to focus on the Matt Duchene trade, which would have affected Connor Jones. So I want to start off by talking about the Matt Duchene trade. Matt Duchene was just traded, and Kyle Turris was traded to the Nashville Predators in a 3-team deal. That was a crazy trade. A lot of assets went to Colorado. And one thing that was very surprising was just the sheer quantity of the assets that went to Colorado. And the Colorado's final offer with the Islanders was Matt Barzal, Ilya Sorokin, Travis Hamonic, and a first-round pick, which would have affected Bridgeport, and it would have affected the Islanders. So I just want to come to Scott and ask about that trade, and just, if that trade went through, would the Islanders be in a better shape right now? Would Matt Barzal be doing as well as he did? How would Bridgeport be? How would the Islanders be? And just how would that trade affect the future of the Islanders franchise?
First off, we would not be in a playoff spot right now without Matt Barzal. He has just been outstanding. He's been a pleasant surprise in the running with Clayton Keller for the Calder. If they did co-Calder, then both of them would easily win. Both of them are having great seasons. So really, it wouldn't affect Bridgeport as much as a lot of people think, considering that Sorokin still may not even come over to the States. That is still a whole saga with him. Soderstrom just signed his new contract in Sweden, so it looks like he's priority. Sorokin is secondary. Hamonic, it would risk us losing first and 2 seconds that we got from Calgary, and Calgary's right now in the playoff spot. And just remember, Duchene just got traded in what probably is the third biggest trade in the last 5 or so years, just behind Weber for Subban and Hall for Larson. And I feel like Ottawa's a great fit for him, and right now, I don't think the Islanders would have been a great fit for him, looking at what's going on with the team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that at the time I would have wanted to do that. If instead of Matt Barzal, it was Michael Dow Cole or another player, I feel like Matt Barzal was too much to lose. I really liked him, and, he always had so much hope and potential, and I really like what he's brought to the team. And I think Matt Duchene would have brought something similar, and probably, maybe a little better. I don't know. Maybe the same, maybe a little worse. I don't think it was worth the trade. I think Garceau made a good move in standing pat. And, I'm glad that we have a first and 2 seconds that we got for Hamnick to bolster the farm system. And, I think it was a good trade. So I'm excited about Matt Barzal and how he's going to play in the future. But one player that isn't doing too well right now is Joshua Hosang. And on our website, drivefor5.blog, we had a lot of content up at the beginning of the season about Matt Barzal versus Josh Hosang. Who's better? Who's going to be the better player in the future? Who's going to win the Calder? All this great stuff. And, Josh Hosang has not played like we've hoped. He has not played as well as last year. He's skating around a lot, and he really isn't giving the Islanders that dynamic edge that they needed. He was more of being a liability, even though he was putting up some points. So the Islanders sent him down to Bridgeport. And as I'm going to come to Christian now, you watch all the Bridgeport games. You're a season ticket holder. We're glad you're on the podcast so you can, give us some insight into this. But how has Josh Hosang looked in Bridgeport, and just what is the comparison between Hosang and Barzal and just how they've played this year?
He's slowly increasing back to the way he was. Now, to be honest, the reason why I think that he hasn't done well is maybe there's not a lot of, preseason workouts done by Josh. Maybe there's not a lot of conditioning done well by him. He didn't come ready at all last year. Was that the same issue this year? But, watching him play over the last couple weeks here in Bridgeport, he has looked like his old self, where he was just skating around looplessly with the puck, with a chicken with his head cut off, like Scott said earlier. And he doesn't pass the puck. He's still a puck hog. He's trying to control too much in the power play, even though he is supposed to be the quarterback of that power play since Pulak is up with the Islanders. So, but the thing about with him and Barzal is that Barzal is so fast. They're both fast. I didn't think Barzal was faster. Barzal can really shoot the puck. He can set up plays. He's made some great passes. Hosang needs to work on that part of his game, the playmaking ability. He's a sniper, so is Barzal, but Hosang is a better sniper, I think. But he needs to work on his playmaking abilities, like Barzal has over the years.
Yeah, definitely think that Hosang tries to do too much, and I think that has hurt the Islanders this season, and it isn't exactly what Bridgeport needs. Brett Thompson is an amazing coach, and he should whip Hosang into shape for a late season call-up, hopefully, just like last season. And I'm really hoping that we get to see Hosang again so he can maybe play with Barzal. You never know. Although Jordan Eberle has been amazing playing with Matt Barzal. So, I'm not sure if we'll ever see that line broken up this season because it has just been fantastic. So with that, I want to talk about some of Connor Jones' teammates. We have Sebastian Aho, who has been absolutely fantastic. I have to say, when we drafted him and the hype train started already just because of his name, I thought it was a little ridiculous. I thought that people were overhyping him just because his name was Sebastian Aho, and there's a famous player on the Carolina Hurricanes named Sebastian Aho. But boy, was I wrong. This hype is deserved, and he may even be in the NHL this year based off how he's playing. He's scored a hat trick. I've followed the AHL on Twitter and Instagram. He's been all over their pages. Just, they're really marketing him as one of the AHL stars already. I mean, he has been sensational on the Islanders, the Sound Tigers defensive unit, and it's just amazing to see. So, Scott, I want to come to you. You just wrote an article on our website about Sebastian Aho, and I just want to ask, how do you feel that his play has fit into the Sound Tiger system, and how has he really been able to develop and break out as a star?
I just feel like when he gets on the ice, I feel like everyone just stops and starts going after him. No matter if it's in the defensive zone or even the offensive zone, they're passing to him more than they're passing to some of the forwards. He's been playing, and Christian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he's been playing a lot with King LaFranchise.
When LaFranchise is in, I believe when LaFranchise is out, he's playing with Mitchell Van Sample.
Okay. So two very two very two-way defensive players, especially with the franchise, and he's just playing like he's adjusted quick because he played 4 years in what used to be the Swedish Elite League, now it's the Swedish Hockey League. He was putting up points, and he started there as a 16-year-old. When he was drafted last year, he was drafted in the 5th round of the 4th year of his draft eligibility. So he's been waiting for a long time to get this opportunity.
Yeah, so that's it with Aho. I mean, he's been sensational. It's been great to watch him, really break out this year. And I just want to talk about one more thing. Connor Jones was amazing to come on. He is really developing into, we were honored to have him on because he really is one of the fan favorites in Bridgeport. And I just want to talk about quickly, he has a bobblehead coming out this year on the Sound Tigers Instagram account. They had a giveaway where they were giving out a Connor Jones signed puck for captioning a picture. And even some players got involved on that contest. I know I did. And, Connor Jones, he's developing into a leader in Bridgeport. He was called up last year. He played amazing in the NHL. His numbers would have put him on pace for a fantastic season where he would have been 6th in the NHL in hits, and he would have had a above 50% Corsi percentage. He really has been a breakout player for the Sound Tigers, and it's nice to see him, really break out for them. He's playing solid again this season. He's, being a leader on the bottom 6 forward core for the Sound Tigers. And, the Sound Tigers do have a lot of young players like Sebastian Aho and Michael Dowcole, and I'm sure they all look up to Connor Jones as a role model. And when we talked to him, he sounded amazing in the locker room. He sounded like, everyone just loves him. And, I got to say, he's one of our favorite players, and we're just so thankful to have him on. And I just want to, again, thank you, Connor Jones. Thank you, Alan Fearing, for organizing this. Thank you, Scott and Christian, for coming on here. And it was a great interview, and we're excited to have some more in the future. We're excited with our website and the progress it's making, and we're excited with our Instagram. So I just want to thank everyone again for listening. Thank Connor Jones, and I want to wish you guys a great night.
Thank you for listening to the Drive for 5 podcast.